All right. How do we say this card? Is it Jegantha? I'm just going to call him Jeg. Jeg and Niv seem like best buddies. This card can cast with either green or red mana. 5/5 says no card in your starting deck can have more than one of the same mana symbol in its casting cost. So what this means is you can't have any double costed cards in your deck. You can't play Time Wipe. You can't play Murderous Rider. You can't play Dream Trawler. Those types of things. That's what this restriction means. Now, as for Tolsmir, as for the deck itself, I was looking at new multicolored cards that could be good with Niv. And remember, Niv explicitly only gets you 2 colored cards. So we can't get any of the sweet 3-color cards with Niv. And Dire Tactics really jumped out at me as being potentially one of the best 2-colored cards in Ikoria. And this, obviously, ideally, you're going to have humans with it. And we're playing multicolored cards. We're playing Niv. We wanted humans. Hero seemed like a natural inclusion. I've also got a few other humans in here. We've got Chevill, Bane of Monsters, some Guardmage, some Atris, etc. Now, one thing I like to highlight when playing a deck like this is, one, I might have built this mana base at 12:30 a.m. this morning, but I'm fairly confident it's reasonable. Let's talk about why it's reasonable. The key thing to understand when building mana bases is that it's important that you don't pick your spells and then pick your lands. Picking your spells and picking your lands should go hand in hand together. They should be 2 sides of the same coin that are interconnected. So what do I mean by that? If you look at this deck that we're playing, you'll note something about the colors of the cards as you go up the curve in my deck. Here in the 2 slot, we only have green, black, and white cards, which is why when you look at my mana base, you'll notice I have more green, black, and white mana than the other colors. As we move further up the curve at 3, 4, and 5, I have blue spells, and then you'll also note that Niv-Mizzet is the only red card in my deck. So red is the least represented color in my mana base because I don't need red mana till turn 5. Past that, I might not need red mana at all in a lot of cases because on turn 5, I'm not guaranteed to have Niv. And when I do have Niv, in some cases, Jeg here is going to be able to filter from green to red, basically. Because as long as I have green mana, Jeg is going to be castable, and then the following turn we'll be able to cast Niv. So again, I think one of the big disconnects people have when building decks and mana bases in general is that they pick their spells and then try and build their mana to match their spells, as opposed to thinking about what their mana is capable of looking like, and then picking their spells and mana at the same time, so it's most likely to work out for you. Thanks for the 7 months, Spirit. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Another thing to look at here too, which is great, is you'll notice when I pull this up, there's 28 lands in this deck. I'm playing 8 Triomes. One of the ways I think we'll be able to consistently cast our spells in this deck is just with a high land count. Playing more lands is a good way to provide fixing for your deck because you're just more likely to have colors if you have more lands. Also, because we can play 8 Triomes now, the punishment for having more lands is a lot lower because in the mid to late game, when we're going to be likely to be flooding and not need those lands anymore, we can now cycle them, which is excellent. Did I design the Kiki Core deck? I really hate the idea of people trying to own specific deck ideas. I was not the first person to put Kiki Jiki and Restoration Angel together. I was not the first person to figure out, hey, we can cast Court of Calling to find these cards. I spent a lot of time working on the archetype and iterating it when I played a lot of Modern forever ago. Thanks, Juice Master, for the third of a year. Feels Magic the Gathering, man. Alright, let's do it. For Blue-Black Flash, sounds good, Trumpet. Kruga, Revealed Sphinx, almost assuredly playing Fires. Could be Jeskai, could be another color. In fact, maybe because they showed us, I should have looked at their companion to start remembering to do that. I think if I would have noticed they were playing Kruga, I would have bottomed the other Kaya and kept both Teferis. No, we had a no land 7 and then a 2 land 6. Never forget, chat, the Shuffler is as rigged as the Earth is flat. That mean you think I don't think traditional mid-range is playable in Standard. I think you either need to be going much bigger and having more ways to impact the board, or you need to be ramping in some way. You need to have a pile of interaction and ramp. The days of just being able to play a bunch of efficient threats feel long over. Unfortunately, in addition to mulliganing low this game, we've also drawn 2 cards here that are just blanks against Fires, which is unfortunate. Okay. All right. Normally, I'm a big fan of always taking the 2 cards, but not taking the Uro is a lot like still getting it, so I think this is fine. I think I preferred the Sultai deck to Jeskai. I also haven't played a ton of either of them, though, so you should take that with a grain of salt. At this point in the format, I have not played a significant amount of any archetype. Well, the Jeskai Ultimatum deck was a historic deck too, so I assume they're asking about Standard. Haktos is on 4, which is why they killed my Atris.
That's more like it.
I think we're probably dead here. Protection is a fun and interesting and engaging Magic the Gathering mechanic. I find it fun. It is one that I am frequently excited to play against. This is probably too slow. Guardmage is probably slow. It's probably not very good. Arrow plus Oath gains us 6, keeping us alive. Sure, but like they're at 16, and then I'm just like dead the following turn too. This time we'll hope to stroke the Hectos or get a little bit luckier. Hopefully it lands on 2 or 3 where we have cards that can interact with it. No, I haven't checked out the daily deals that rolled over 2 minutes ago while I was still in a match. Okay, this is pretty reasonable. 2, 3, get to hold up stroke. Hey, as a parasite did, thank you. Second verse, same as the first, sounds good. Nope, you're good. I missed it. I'm gonna miss a bunch of things today, probably. Spent a long weekend. Stroke the Hacto sounds like a dance move I couldn't do. Sounds like the title of a bad home porn video. Let's see if they stop my hero or not here. She's dead, Jim. They've killed her. The deck wasn't good, but we had a really good match against Yarok Field. So this Fabled Passage gets to fetch Mountain, play Jeg next turn. Legion War Boss? Okay, they're like a super aggressive build of. Super aggressive build of fires, huh? Are you a moose or a cow? Oh. Ah, yes. Playing 5 mana cards that don't impact the board. I forgot I'm not allowed to do that. Here we go. Alright, and we're actually like incredibly far ahead now, right? So we get to get rid of that. We get to kill their Planeswalker. We have Disdainful Stroke up now. Nah, I think it took people a little while to realize what a state Teferi was.
I'm known for my excellent timing. Don't worry, I got this.
The fact that the creatures slide the other direction Still keeps tripping me up. I have enough cards in my graveyard to escape this, but I'm missing my second green at the moment.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
I mean, Tail's End is better than Stroke. Big disagree. Ain't got time to gamble that one might be okay. Actually, do I want Thought Erasure here? I probably do. Othakaya might also be okay as well, since they're on Rebel Master. Would I rather have Elite Guardmage than Atris, because they're on Rebel Master, probably? Trim Despark if they're a little lower to the ground than I thought initially. No, is it Niv's not playable in a format where Aether Gust is a main deck card? He's gonna be struggle to be playable regardless, but he's definitely not playable under those circumstances. I keep my 2 threats and a removal spell here. If we can get a keepable 6 or 7, that would be nice. Mulligan to 5, 2 games on a 3 here. Just looking for lands or looking for spells. I have no idea, Pumpus. I don't know anything regarding limited. Not a clue. This is gonna get stomped. Maybe I'm just supposed to pass with Dire Tactics up, since it's pretty clear they have stomp from the pauses. Yeah, I think I messed up there and I'm supposed to adjust. So I should just pass with Dire Tactics up. Be a lot better off. The dire text animation is wonderful, I agree. Probably just buried at this point. I think this is going to be the problem with archetypes like Niv. This was the problem with it last season at least too, is that like what we're trying to accomplish is just a lot slower and more clunky than the Fires deck. Like what this deck is aiming to do is looking to go big. And the way in which we're accomplishing going big is just way slower and more fair than what the good decks in the format are able to accomplish. Give it a few shakes. Maybe, hopefully we can run into some aggro decks. I think we could probably be competitive against like the Lurrus decks, for example. Sweet. Let's see if we can test that theory, huh? Can we be competitive against the Lurrus decks? We have good tools for beating aggro, but the other go big decks just go way over the top of us. We're going to fetch Forest on one here. And then Shock, Hero, Shock, Uro. Play this on 4. Hey, Donis. Thanks for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Lurrus and Knight. That seems sweet. I don't want my hero to get rimmed here, so I'm just going to go ahead and say no blocks. So do we Chevill now, or do we Uro? We probably just Uro. The Scage Stop Conqueror's Death. It stops Conqueror's Death from getting back creatures. It does not stop Conqueror's Death from getting back Planeswalkers. Yeah, Uro lets us Jeg sooner, which is appealing. One of the nice things about them playing Lurrus is it means, wow, that went so much worse than expected. Fight as one, yep. Woof. I think I'd rather do this before Niv, because this doubles my mana, basically. Super dead to shock. Like, they can't have cleave because they're playing Lurrus. So if I shock this in, I can play this and Chevill. The animation is great. Am I dead? I think so. Did they miss lethal? I think they missed lethal, right? They would have attacked with this too, I'd have died. Opponent decided math was for blockers, and we got him for it. What do I want to do here? Untapped lane's a really good draw there.
Glad to be here. Your problems are my problems.
To exile their 2 haste creatures out of the bin, go back up to 6. Definitely stole that one. Opponent missed lethal and we were able to sneak it out. I mean, I don't know if I think it's incorrect to assume that our opponent is upset. I mean, I think the game was pretty over at that point. I think their concession is reasonable. You don't have to be mad to realize that the game is over. I guess this is an easy mulligan. I guess I have all my colors. Do I keep this because I have all my colors? I feel like that might be the case. Maybe I'm supposed to mulligan looking for Othakaya postboard. It's a good pickup. Bop Zapper, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So we'll exile this. We lose 2 still, though. Oh, you know what? I should have done this on my turn. So we had an easier time with Ebon Legion. I'm going to Kaya exile the Venerable Knight. So that way, if they want to have lethal for Kaya on board, they have to pay to pump their Ebon Legion. Because if she reads, exile your thing, so you spend an entire turn killing her, that's a success for us, I think. Why is the companion restriction real? I can play Clarion. I can play Clarion with the companion that I have. Companion does not restrict Clarion. I think you're misunderstanding what my companion does. I elected not to play Clarion because I'm playing Hero, which might not be right. I also don't have that many red sources. If you were here if you missed the start, I talked about how the mana base is constructed in this deck. We only have 10 red sources altogether. Why, I don't understand the companion restriction is real part of your statement then. If you're saying we can play Clarion, how is the companion at all related to that, or any sort of restriction related to that? But how the companion is in no way related to playing Clarion or not, is the part I'm confused about. You're not making any sense, yeah. Playing Clarion or not is in no way, shape, or form related to... Sure, correct. We can't play Shatter or Time Wipe, but I don't think we'd want to play Shatter or Time Wipe, even with the Companion. Like, again, I can play Clarion, and I've elected not to play Clarion. But we're going to go ahead and pass back here, I think. We could risk getting blown out by another fight as one here, but I think that's worthwhile because if you'll note, they don't have any other 1-drops in their bin, so if I kill this preemptively, they'll be able to lure us it back. Whereas now, they only have 6 mana total, so like now that they've pumped, I get to go ahead and kill this, and they can't lure us and bring it back this turn, which is great. Yeah, sure, it's just a weird way to illustrate that, Phantom. Because in this instance, the Companion's not related to the Companion at all. I actually have enough cards in my bin to escape the Uro here, huh? Luris acting as a Snapcaster Mage. That's pretty good. Exile that one. So this can't be used to pay generic costs, so I can't use it on colorless mana, so we can't cycle or cast any of these with it, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass here. Probably going to end up trophying Luris. Don't need to trophy Luris proactively because there's no 1-drops or 2-drops in their graveyard currently. Only got 4 mana from our dork. Feels bad, yep. Feels rough. Yeah, the fact that this card just like doubles your mana when you untap with it is kind of nuts. It is arguably the most majestic mana creature ever printed. These people are great. Buy their stuff. Pay no attention to the arena restart in the background. Definitely didn't forget to do that in between the last 2 sets. Or did MTGA crash? Did the servers die? They've been struggling. They've been struggling all weekend. Old Bay Ray, thanks for the 17 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Too much memory has leaked. Prepare your assets, chat. We're going in. Maybe after all that memory leaked out of the server, they need to refill it. Yeah, my sponsors fund the memory leak. That's peak tinfoil heady. Maybe I am gonna get a day off. Wait, are we in a match? Maybe? Maybe? Alright. It's alive! Arena's just requesting a timeout, right? How much RAM would you suggest downloading to run Arena? Yes. Is all of it an option? And again, dire tactics here. Literally just 2 mana exile your creature, no drawback because I have a human. Alright. We're playing a 28 land deck. We kept a 3-lander, so I can only assume we're about to miss. Sounds about right. At least we got castable spells, I guess. At least, like, our deck's having the decency of giving us spells we can cast, huh? See some people using the command there. The tournament is slowly filling up for this weekend. I believe last I checked we had about 190 signups, if I recall. So this mutates for 7. They could have 7 next turn, so I think I'm going to play this and exile some of their stuff. Well, these are both humans, right? So they can't mutate onto either of those.
This is child's play.
There just aren't many Magic Online submissions in general, Savid. In fact, one of the couple of Magic Online submissions that are in the queue right now is one that I put in there because I want to play some Kiki Chord with the new cards. I agree, Vanu. It felt really powerful yesterday. So this loses a counter every time it takes damage, right? So it's like block it with 1 and it shrinks. This card, like, seems really good with mutate cards, and then you realize it's a human, and you can't mutate onto it. Signups are at 175 right now. Sweet. Looking like we'll probably have more players than we had for the historic event. These 0/0s are kind of sweet with they are kind of sweet with the mutate card though that brings back total power, right? That's probably what they're doing. They have Pelucranos too. Just pretty fortunate for us that we have main deck Kaya here. I'd love some lands, thanks. No, all the constructed formats share a ladder, just like all the limited formats share a ladder. Yeah, I mean, if you're not using an M2 SSD, your computer's still gonna load Arena more slowly. Like my computer has a lightning fast drive and it hangs for a second, so if you don't have a lightning fast drive, it's probably gonna take a couple minutes. I've seen people commenting that loading Arena takes like 4 or 5 minutes for them now to start it up, which is kind of absurd. Traditional draft has no ranked for some reason. I can tell you the reason. The reason why ranked draft has no, or traditional draft has no ranked mode is because when they had a ranked mode for that draft option, the Sharks complained about their win percentage going down because they couldn't play against bad players in a ranked mode. And rather than telling the Sharks they should play against people who are of similar skill level, they decided to cave and put the Sharks in with the minnows so they could feed. Like, no joke, they had ranked matchmaking, and they decided that they didn't want that because they wanted the sharks to be able to eat. That's literally what happened. Because what ranked matchmaking does is as you work your way up ranked matchmaking, your win percentage is going to get closer and closer to, oh, I had lethal with Kaya. Thank you for pointing that out. Your win percentage is going to get closer and closer to 50%. And with the rake that Wizards of the Coast wants to have on their drafts, if you're raking a lot, if your players are only winning 50% of the time, they're spewing a lot of money. So Wizards had to choose, put the sharks in with the minnows so they wouldn't complain and they could eat for free, or they would have to cut the rake back. So naturally, they did the option that didn't involve cutting the rake back. Morkaya seems good against their graveyard deck. Trophy sounds good as removal. Despark, they didn't have that many things that were that large, right? I guess it exiles Pelukrinos. Ashiok's a little slow. I've already always get these 5 drops. It seems like it could be aggressive potentially some of the time. Oath could be okay for that reason. I don't know. Trim Atris, put a 3rd Oath in. Let's try this. I made 1,000 gems playing limited this weekend. I feel a bit bad about it. Yep. I mean, like, and to be fair, there's a reason why basically every other game that has a ranked ladder, you don't have to pay to play matches on that ranked ladder, right? That's the reason. I mean, to be fair to Arena, the Arena limited model is identical to the limited model you experience at your local game store or on Magic Online. Like, those environments throw sharks in with the minnows, generally speaking. Although, I guess that's not strictly true. My LGS, when I played LGS Magic, they definitely, when they had bigger draft nights, had an experienced draft pool and a new player draft pool. So I guess that's probably not even a fair comparison, huh? Flaming Swag, thanks for the 7 months. It's definitely how it works on Moto, but Moto definitely should not be our model for this is okay and this is not okay. Am I just playing my 5/5? I could do this plus this. Let's do this plus this. Get 2 tokens. So at the beginning of our upkeep, we get to put a bounty counter on something. And then when we kill that thing, we get to gain 3 life and draw a card. It is a little awkward. Bane is notably awkward with our exile removal. Okay. Rough. I was gonna say at least we get to kill this in combat. Kill this and draw a card. Alright, I think I throw away a hero to hit them here. So, Gaia dies, but they're dead on board unless they have a sweeper here. If Wizards really wanted to, they could make unranked Phantom drafts to get new players acquainted with or interested. Sure, they could do a lot of things. Wizards, and we've talked about this on stream before, one of the things, in my opinion, that Wizards of the Coast does wrong consistently is they don't seem to be willing to give players a little bit of something for free to give them a taste to realize they want to play more. I feel like whoever makes the decisions at WotC pretty consistently misses on the, if you give them the first bump for free, they're gonna want to come back and give you some money. And like, Magic is such a great game that I feel like if they would just give the first bump for free in a lot of cases, they would get people wanting to spend money. Like, for example, something they've done on Arena before, so we know they have the capability to do it, is I think there should always be a pre-built constructed deck queue on Magic Arena. I think there should always be a queue where you can play a pre-built deck against another pre-built deck to give folks a taste of what playing interesting decks looks like. So that way they can have a chance to do that. Yeah, like League of Legends has a free champion rotation. It's a great comparison. Like, hey, give these a try, you're gonna like them. Mythgard has something similar. I actually think Mythgard's probably too generous with it, and I think Magic, because it's bigger, could be more stingy. Like Mythgard lets you play the pre-built decks right in their ranked system against normal decks. I think a separate queue where you only play pre-built decks against pre-built decks would be ideal. Pokemon TCGO has something similar where you get to play a starter deck queue, basically. They gave out draft token. Sure, they gave out a single draft token entry. I agree. I'm talking from the perspective of someone who never wants to touch limited with a 50-foot pole. League's champion rotation is dumb. Just be like Dota 2 and let me play any character. Well, you could buy those champions, right? It's not dumb if they're trying to sell something. It's actually incredibly smart if they're trying to sell you something. You might not like it personally, but calling it dumb is just silly. That's true. That's true. I'll touch limited with a $100 pull. Tron player, thanks for the 21 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. We actually had some really good games with the Grixis deck. I don't think it was very good, but the quality of the games was reasonable. Why is it you don't like limited? The reason I play Magic the Gathering is to build and iterate and tweak and tune decks. and Limited doesn't provide that same experience for iterating on the thing that you're doing like Constructed does. Limited doesn't scratch that itch for me that Constructed does. It doesn't satisfy the reason why I enjoy playing games like Magic. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying Limited. I'm glad it's a mode of Magic that other people really like and derive joy from. But for me personally, it's just not. It's just not for me. Do I lead on this or do I lead on Ashiok? I kind of want to lead on Ashiok and just get my uptick going on. Limited, there's definitely a lot to learn when you play Limited, but as far as like drafting goes, you can't always guaranteed apply what you learned in your previous draft to your next draft, right? Like you can learn what cards work out in a specific archetype, but you're not guaranteed to get that archetype the next time around, right? Whereas like in a constructed deck, when you have takeaways from playing a couple matches, I can make those changes and then jump into another match and apply those changes right away and iterate on the things I've learned right off the bat. You see, Florida opened all beaches again. Yes. When we write about this era in the history books, Rob DeSantos is going to go down as one of the people who managed their state the worst out of all of the governors.
My kin are delightfully friendly.
That's his name, right? It's Rob DeSantos. Did I get his name right? He's not my governor. I've caught him in the news. I think that's right. Ron. It's Ron DeSantos. Ron, sorry. I was close. I got the first two letters right. DeSantos. All right, I'm calling it close enough. Listen, have you heard me pronounce Magic card names, chat? Rob DeSantos is far than way super close. The Rake. Thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. We'll round up, okay? We'll round up. All right. Teferi doesn't seem very good here. Kaya is great against these cat oven decks because she can exile the oven and then exile the cat. Oath of Kaya seems fine. Trophy seems reasonable. Is this very good? This probably isn't very good here, huh? They don't really have big things I want to block, I don't think. Although I guess their Fiend Artisan can technically get pretty big. Although I probably want to kill that before that happens. 4 Uros might be too many in this deck. Let me just trim 2 of those. Let's just trim 2 of those. I mean, okay. So again, just to show that I can be, you know, and for the sake of being objective, something like WWE, where there's a limited staff and limited people interacting, in a world where COVID tests are accessible, that doesn't seem like an unreasonable thing to allow without an audience. To be fair and call a spade a spade. Like, I actually don't think, like, things like that are unreasonable in a world where COVID tests exist and you can get them on demand. In a world where every person that's working on that set can get a test and everybody can know that none of them are going to be spreading anything, that's fine. In my opinion. But again, that being okay largely has to rely on our ability to get everybody that needs a test to test. And that's not even people that need a test. That's even just in case type things. That's different than opening up public beaches where, you know, people aren't going to be properly social distanced because they're packed. All right, for the people that are commenting on WWE being douchey in chat, I'm going to let you out on a really terrible secret. We live in a late-stage capitalistic society. Every large, profitable company is run by people that you should appropriately describe as kind of douchey. Welcome to late-stage capitalism. I'm gonna break some hearts. Did you know Magic the Gathering as a product exists purely to take your money? Did you know that Wizards of the Coast does not make Magic the Gathering out of the kindness of their heart? And the primary reason they make Magic the Gathering cards is to take the money from you and transfer it to them? Now, it's important to distinguish, too, when you talk about stuff like that, it's important to distinguish that there are people who work at Wizards who genuinely love Magic, and they're not there making Magic cards for the money. In fact, a number of people that work at Wizards could probably make more money designing games for other studios that would pay them more, but they love Magic, so they make less working on Magic. There's a difference between the employees that work at the companies and love these games and the actual corporation itself whose every decision is driven by a profit margin. And that's a really important distinction, I think, to be aware of. Correct, yes. The people who are deciding that, like, the historic ranked ladder should disappear half the time, those aren't the same people as the people designing Magic cards that love the game. And that's true of basically every company, right? Like in every company, there's people with clipboards and they're looking at the numbers and crunching it and trying to figure out how they make the game suck the most money out of the players, regardless of how much the people making the game love the players of the game or not. Clipboard's confirmed evil, yep. Correct. Yeah, that's just how the world works. That's just the cold, hard reality of late stage capitalism. I'm gonna pivot back off of the sad topic of late stage capitalism here in just a second, but I would like to close this series of comments with a kind of inspired message. I know a lot of people like myself were sad when Sanders lost the nomination. If you're someone that really doesn't like late stage capitalism like myself, remember that there's a lot more in the United States, and even if you live in countries outside of the United States, than just the president or your top elected office. And you should look up, and if you're someone that believes in and wants to support progressive values and move the Overton window left in the United States, find a Senate race that you care about. Find a House seat that you care about. There are a lot of great progressives that are running. Look up the Justice Democrats if you're not familiar with them. There's a lot more than just the presidency to care about. Just the president, even if Bernie had been elected, can't do a lot without Congress as well. If Biden's president and you get a bunch of progressives into the House and some into the Senate over the course of 2020 and 2022, like, you could still have some really good change. All right, what are we doing here? I just got a ton of choices. I kind of feel like we have a build our own adventure book. Do I play? They probably don't have a removal spell, right? If they had a removal spell, I feel like they would have killed this. So I think I'm going to lead on this so I can basically double my mana for next turn. I think is the play here. Touching on capitalism, how much for a cut the line? We're really, normally arena cut the lines are $50, but I'm a little backed up with the new set release, so cut the lines currently are $100. Again, generally much less than that to get your deck played the next stream. I believe it's like 40 to 50 to be at the top of the line for the next stream, but to get into today as the next deck is a $100 donation. Yep. What would you do about sideboarding against Gyruda with this deck? I took out my even cost creatures and put in removal and counter spells, and it seemed to work, but it made... I mean, you're going to be clunky against them, Conqueror. Fires and Gyruda I expect to be hard matchups for this deck. We got dumpstered by Fires in the first match, but we've been competitive against the other creature decks since then. How much would it to be determine all of the decks for the day? $100 times the number of deck slots I plan to play that day. I usually play one deck per 90 minutes of stream time thereabout. Do I listen to any MTG podcasts? I do not. Most of the content I consume, most of the content I consume when I'm not making content is I watch other people streaming on Twitch. Day 9, Sean is probably the person I watch the most. Usually, you know, one of the things I realize when I'm like looking around, it's really hard to find people. There are not a lot of people on Twitch that play a lot of standard constructed or play variety in their standard constructed. Like, looking for other versions of me to watch when I'm not live is tough. There aren't a lot of them. Air Spencer, thanks for the 16 months. Yeah, Ali Andrazi's a good one. Day 9 does a decent amount of constructed. Yeah, it seems like a lot of there are a few others. Like Ali and Day 9 do some good variety. Davis does some good variety. Davis still does a lot of Magic Online though. So, like, he's still... and, like, Caleb Durward does a decent amount of variety, but he also does a lot of Magic Online. Yeah, Caleb doesn't do much Standard. I don't think I've seen him really touch Historic. Yeah, there's a lot of good limited content. Wyatt's a good one, too. Yep. And the other problem is not all of them archive to YouTube like I do. So like if they're not live, I can't go into their YouTube channel. Jim's got a pretty good YouTube backlog. Yeah, Wyatt's a good mix. Wyatt's like a world-class Magic player that does a good amount of variety. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I close the chat in every Twitch stream other than Day 9's. And he's also in sub-only mode, so like that's probably why his chat is reasonable. y'all here and Day 9's chat are basically the only chats I'm ever in. Do you think is it dead? Alright, I can't cancel. It's been queuing for 3 minutes. These people are great. Buy their stuff. Pay no attention to the Magic Arena restart behind the curtain. Everything is fine. Nobody panic. Oh, and now it's crashing. Now I told it to close and it white screen hard locked. All right. Yep. You know. The cancel button's a decoration. Something like that. I said this the other day. The thing that makes me most sad about moving to Windows is these random crashes like that. I can't like give myself the benefit of the doubt and be like, well, maybe Arena's just lagging because I'm running it on Linux under Wine and that's not a supported platform. Like, I'm on Windows 10 and like my computer's really fast and this is definitely a supported platform and, well, you know, you know. Couple of people are commenting on my desktop background. Yeah, it's great. This is the Theros Gods art. I love it. Here's a link to the art on Twitter. Wow, it's weird. Did they push an update or something this morning? Because I feel like it's weird that we're having more issues on a Monday morning than we had over the weekend, right? Like, in theory, there should be less people playing right now, right? In theory. All right, and we're back. We're back. Let's see if we can find one more match with the Niv deck. All right, it's alive. Wait, is that right? Weren't we 600 something? Did we lose a match in the middle? Is that why it wouldn't reconnect? Can someone go back and check the tape? What rank were we after the last match we won? We were higher than this, right? Did we get a match loss while we were disconnected there? We were in the 600s, right? That's such a load of crap. That's really frustrating. Yeah, I think that's totally what happened. I think it crashed while trying to pair us while we were on that 3-minute timer. And then we couldn't get back in and get to the match, and it match lost us. What a bad joke. Does the client have a match log? Why would we have a basic feature like a match log? Why would I be able to look back and see the list of matches that I played and who I've played against? What do you think this is? I like how it just, like, didn't even take us into the match. It just, like, sat there and left it counting for 3 minutes. Tape rank says 680 from what I can tell. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'm not crazy. Well, I am crazy, but I'm not wrong. Just remember, chat. Just because you think they're out to get you doesn't mean you're wrong. All right. Your match log is in your vault. Don't you only drop way more than you lose? No, not really. Not always. Sometimes, but not always. Any political podcasts you'd recommend? I mostly watch video stuff. Last week tonight with John Oliver, Trevor Noah on Comedy Central. I watched some Colbert, but he's been missing for me a little bit lately. Seth Meyers is really good. If you're looking for more smaller or indie things, Some More News is a good one. They do a YouTube thing. How's Chevill been performing? Playable? Oh, Philip. How did I forget DeFranco? Yeah, Philip DeFranco is one I watch pretty regularly. Grant the Red, thanks for the 5 months. I don't know. So, like, I was following the... I hadn't actually listened to any of the Pod Save stuff, but I had, like, looked up some of their stuff, and I was following a few of them on Twitter. And some of the people on Pod Save America's takes on Bernie during the primary really kind of turned me off. I don't have any specific examples offhand, but I remember seeing, like, a couple of tweets from that. I was like, all right, I'm unfollowing you, because these are just bad takes. It's my favorite IQR deck to play. Anything with Baby Godzilla. Baby Godzilla, followed closely by Shark Tornado, have been my 2 favorite cards in the set. Well, we would be climbing the ranks more if Arena hadn't randomly disconnected and then given us a match loss. So, you know, there's that. What's Baby Godzilla actually called? I have no idea. He's Baby Godzilla in my heart. Who are we putting a thing on here? Probably just Priest. You love to see it, chat. Land? My favorite part about Magic the Gathering is the part where you can play 28 lands in your deck and still miss. Yes, we can't even go in the memoir because we're on 28 lands. Yeah. Yeah, we've drawn 2 a turn for the last couple turns, right? Do I have music in my headphones? No, not usually. Sometimes when I do like a late night chill stream, if I'm playing like a non-Magic game, I'll put music on in my headphones while I chill. But when I'm working during the day, no. Yeah, that's lazy and not accounting for extra draw shady pair, which again is why calculating Magic the Gathering mana bases has a lot of complexity and depth to it. That's a good draw.
Here we go.
Yeah, and I'm telling you there's more variables, like the fact that I saw like 4 extra cards this game. Yeah, Chevill's can jumped a couple times. We're stalling out hard here, but might be able to drag us kicking and screaming across the finish line. Oh, they can sack this in response. This is dumb. I should target the Woe Strider. Excuse me? Yeah, we take those, I guess. Everything worked out better than expected, chat. It's free real estate, yep. I missed it, but they missed it back. You know, sometimes instead of playing Magic, you play soccer. Is it crazy to bounce their trail? They're kind of choked on mana, right? I think I'm supposed to bounce their trail to keep them choked on mana. I could also bounce Oathakaya to be able to replay that, but I'm probably not replaying it for 2 turns, right? No, this set's been good. I could just bounce Woe Strider. Yeah, that's probably the line. I can also just wait. I'm just gonna wait. I can draw next turn. I already have 6 cards in my hand, and like if they sack the cat, I'm gonna draw another card from Bane. Thanks, Gavin. I appreciate the 2 months. For those looking at this deck and thinking that it's kind of sweet, this is was a build-around submission for the stream. So something that I do in addition to playing specific decks at players' requests is players can submit a card or cards for me to build a deck around, and I will do my best to try and build something around the restriction as competitive as we can try and make it. I feel like we've done a pretty good job here. I think this deck, we got pretty dumpstered by Jeskai Fires, and I think that those matchups are going to be difficult to impossible for a deck like this just because they go bigger than we do. But I think in general against these creature decks, it seems like we have really good amount of play. We beat a Lurrus deck earlier. The build around was for 5-color Niv. Niv-Mizzet Reborn. That's cute. Just gotta fade Mayhem Devil or keep it off the table at the very least for a little bit. Really? That's aggressive. Are they sacking lands here? They can't possibly be right to sack lands here, right? Wow. Okay. Yeah, sure. Thanks for the 16 months, Zero. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Okay, well, I'm gonna... Well, now I'm really glad we saved our bounce, huh? Sure. You got me. The companion's been good a couple of times, and hopefully this will be a spot where if they don't have Murderous Rider, hopefully it'll be good here. Like if they don't have Murderous Rider, this is just gonna like unlock our entire hand, right? Like so, let's just play out a ton of stuff next turn. Outside of Niv, we can't utilize the red mana on this, but it frequently makes 3 to 4 mana when we untap with it, which is plenty. Comes close to doubling our mana the following turn. If we have Niv, he literally doubles our mana generally. Yeah, like we have similar resource counts here, but like we just have way more mana than them now. We have similar card counts, we have way more mana than them. Does the bounty counter work as Chevill's no longer play? It does not, Rexbox. It does if we play a second one, though. This does not care who plays the bounty counter. So that's nice. Yeah, definitely should have attacked with their Death Touch creature. Would not have blocked. They could have killed my Teferi. God, that dude is creepy. I was actually just about to say, I hope Niv draws us a Dire Tactics, but there's that. So that's great. Niv doesn't draw a ton of cards in this deck. Usually it's 2 to 3, which is plenty. Only draws... My 6/6 flyer only draws 2 to 3 cards.
I'll protect you.
I think I start exiling ovens here, right? I think that's the plan. Atris is a human. In addition to Hero and Chevill, Atris and Elite Guardmage are both humans for Dire Tactics. How'd they miss 6 damage? Opponent played just fine. I'm gonna give you a timeout for being wrong. 1 don't laugh at my opponent for missing things. Magic's complicated and we all miss things. 2, if you're gonna be a dick and try and laugh at my opponent because you think they missed something, at least try and understand the board state so you're not wrong. Because then you look like a dick and an idiot. Okay, so with Mayhem Devil here, they're going to get to finish off my Kaya. Mayhem Devil is actually why I prioritized getting Kaya down to take out the ovens. We were hoping we could fade it for 1 turn, but it is what it is. Second, Bantu. Bantu here is pretty scary. We're going to need to take the Mayhem Devil off the table next turn. Yeah, dire Tactics has felt real good. Seems like the real deal. Okay, so I'm gonna do plus here to start. Activate this. We'll go Time Raveler, bounce Oathakaya the Mayhem Devil. I haven't played a land yet for the turn, so I can play Uro and then put both these lands into play and then play Elite Guardmage. I could also just shock this in and get Ashiok going, but I don't know that getting Ashiok going really does much for me. There's no reason to attack with this because they just get to bring the cat back and block it. This has menace, so if they want the cat to block it, they have to block with something else. What are the clocks at? That's a good question. They're at 19 minutes. I'm at 24 minutes. We have 10 cards in my bin, so Uro can pop back up next turn. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can theoretically Mayhem Devil and Bantu me next turn, right? If they find it. They don't have 21 permanents though yet, so I think we're okay. Playing quickly is one of my better qualities. I don't always play the best Magic, but I play faster than most people. Oh yeah, and Woe Strider doesn't count as a permanent. They don't need to get to 24, they just don't count Woe Strider as one of their permanents. How did the blue-black flash deck feel? As always, if you're interested in my thoughts on a deck, you should go into the wrap-up segment of the deck on YouTube. Last 2 to 5 minutes of every video is me giving my thoughts on how the deck felt that we just played out. Alright, there's a Mayhem Devil. I got a bunch of flying dopes, though. What if I play the other Niv-Mizzet here to try and hit Dire Tactics and removal? I think that's probably reasonable. I've got another Oathakaya and 2 Dire Tactics in my deck. And another Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, we're attacking first. 10 out of 10 smacking them. And then probably also want to escape Uro, so that way we can get our life total as high as possible. I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 mana to work with after we play Niv-Mizzet. Could Ashiok bounce the Devil so they can't Devil and Ashiok next turn? Yeah, that's probably going to be a fallback plan, because I can Ashiok and, well, why hello there. Why, hello there. Does the extra mana matter? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I was gonna take the cheaper one. They have things to sacrifice anyway, so I probably can't. Probably doesn't matter. Let's start with Trophy here. So I get to gain 3 life and draw a card. And then I'm just trying not to die to Bantu plus another Mayhem Devil next turn. So this is green, green. This is not green. I tap my forest. I had to tap my forest. So I don't have triple green, so I can't Uro and Uro. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could Uro into Elite Guardmage and gain 6. I don't think so, Kane. I think with the God Eternal Bantu, we could realistically die. I want to get my life total to more. I want more health than they have cards in deck, and they have 26 cards in deck, and now I have 27 life. The deck could play 2 companions, would play Yorion, probably not. Even if you could, I don't think you would, and you can't, so it's like really not worth talking about. How many devils are they through at this point? Is a good question. 1, 2, 3. There's one left. I have a backup of him. It's been a sick game of Magic. We're at 15 minutes. I'm at 22 minutes. So We're gonna play Ashiok, bounce the Goose attack.
The regrets of the dead are the sweetest ingredient.
Do 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 do. Bew 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 bew. All right, so they have to win 2 games in less time than it took for them to play just that game. All right, feeling pretty okay about that. Liking our chances. Got the little Ashiok sound hanging out in our headphones here. Our wonderfully release-ready product. Gonna bring in all our removals, so we have lots of ways to take... Mayhem Devil off the table. Seems pretty critical. I need 2 more cuts here. Would we rather have Ashiok or Atris? I feel like I'd rather have Atris, because keeping a human in play so I don't lose life to Dire Tactic seems pretty critical. Ashiok's pretty slow and clunky, and I'm bringing in a lot more efficient removal. It's like blue-black. It's like blue-black white noise. Yeah. It's like blue-black static. I'm going to click submit so the noise goes away. What really gets me is they figured out how to cut all sound effects when you click submit and get to the match screen here. So why don't they just kill all sound effects when you go to sideboarding? Like, they obviously have something in their toolbox that lets them just get rid of all the sound effects. So, like, why doesn't it just happen when we go to sideboarding? Something that's good to note in this deck. We were talking about the mana base at the start, and I don't think I highlighted this. All 8, you'll notice the Triomes I'm playing in this deck, all of the Triomes I'm playing tap for white mana. So Triome on 1 into any other land on 2 that's untapped lets you play Hero of the Precinct One. And again, those are the little things you should think about and try and decide when building your mana base and your spell selection hand in hand when you put those together. You'd guess, is it still connected to the board state so you see the board state while sideboarding? That's actually a good observation. That's probably, that sounds correct. That sounds reasonable. Yeah, Goons, couple people thinking about that. I did not think about that piece. Do I burn Dire Tactics on this Woe Strider so I can start attacking them? I feel like it do. Gets rid of their escape monster for later, gives me a token, uses my mana for the turn. I unfortunately can't play Chevill off of the Hallowed Fountain. And then next turn, I'm going to get to go Triome into Uro Triome. I know this isn't like a giant revolution or like, you know, it sounds pretty straightforward, but believe it or not, having lands that tap for 3 colors of mana feels... Oh, did I play the wrong one? No, I didn't. I was say, believe it or not, having lands that tap for 3 colors of mana made the mana base a lot better in my 5-color deck. Compared to previous seasons, the mana's a lot better in this archetype because of these 8 lands. No, this is actually the last match with this deck. We've been playing this one for almost an hour and 45 minutes. Might be a 2-hour video set if this match continues to run long. I thought this wasn't a hot take stream, right? Alright, and I kind of feel like, again, I expect my opponent to not have a removal spell here, because if they had a removal spell, they'd probably kill my hero. So I think we just play Jeg next turn, so that way we have double mana the following turn. You can always find the current deck list by typing !deck in chat. I believe we have 4 Abzan Triomes, 2 Mardu, 2 Jeskai. Sounds correct. Those are the 3 that make white, and this deck is base Abzan, so I prioritize getting Abzan ones. Sweet, Jace. Yeah, I think we're going to get to that one on Tuesday, most likely. Baby Godzilla's my boy. Dire Tactics has been super impressive in this deck today. They're like digging for a Murderous Rider here to kill the Wellspring. If you're interested in the blue-black mutate deck that we're talking about, it's not coming up today, but remember, we're really well organized here, so you can always find future deck lists that we're going to be playing on stream by checking out the deck queue on my website. Kind of unfortunate we drew the 3rd one there, because, like, we couldn't get it with this. On the Kaya, sure, we take those. Hello, oldest son. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Good.
You're good?
I do. What?
I think you eat too many waffles because you constantly smell like syrup.
That a different dragon. What? That different.
You like that dragon? He's pretty cool, huh?
A different.
I like him.
Have a Chicago too?
He does have a lot of cool colors, doesn't he? He like shimmers. He shimmers and shines.
Shimmer sign. Jackie, please do it, please. Do it.
Do what?
Shimmer sign.
You want to watch Shimmer Shine in the basement?
No.
No? Jake, Lord of Syrup. That would be an appropriate title. Jake, the Lord of Syrup. Are you the Lord of Syrup? The Syrup Prince, maybe?
The Syrup King.
The Syrup King.
The Syrup Rubber. I'm the Syrup King. I got book crown. Syrup crown.
There's a
Rubber
syrup.
crown.
Oh, you have a syrup crown? Is that why you smell like syrup?
And I got a rubber crown.
Hey, Brian. Thanks for the quarter for your welcome back. Despite my best efforts, I think I want to check out the standard tournament. It is not. So we've got, I think last I checked, we had 175 people signed up for the open on Saturday. We have a 256 player cap. So if you're still interested in playing in the Hooglandia Open, you can type ! next open in chat to get a link. Well, that's rude. We'll do this. I'm doing this so that way they don't get to eat it and make food here. And then with these, we'll be able to kill them, right? So we go Dire Tactics the cat, they'll sack it, we'll Dire Tactics it before blocks again, and attack for lethal. Someone asked Jake how old are you, Jacob?
I don't know.
You don't know? How old are you? Are you 4?
No.
No, you're not 4. Jake's just shy. Jacob is 6. You're 6, right?
Why?
Right? Sounds right.
A gold coin.
We got coins, yeah?
I'm a gold.
Not a touchscreen, dude.
Oh, do you need this?
How did I feel about this? This actually felt pretty reasonable overall. Dire Tactics is a card that felt super strong. I feel like my big takeaway from the games that we played there, and this could just be because of the games that we played, but Ashiok Nightmare Muse felt pretty Hey, Grizz, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Welcome. Night Extreme. Okay, I love you, dude. Can you go hang out with mommy upstairs?
Maybe you'll watch Sleep with me.
Yeah, you can use the remote. Do you need help? I'll be out to help you in just a second. to wrap here really quick before I go help him and we switch decks, Ashiok felt pretty underwhelming in some of the matchups that we played, but I feel like there's a chance it might be good in other places. So I think I dragged the curve down a little bit and slide these Ashioks into the sideboard. And I think I would just put a couple more pieces of removal into the main deck. I think like slide the third trophy in and like the third Oathakaya in, just like drag the curve down and be slightly more interactive. Seems like a decent place to be. Hey, well, welcome, Grizz. Clarion. I don't think we want Clarion in this deck for two reasons. First is that we have a lot of cheap creatures that die to Clarion with our hero and this and these as well. The second is that, again, with the mana base, there's only 10 red sources in my mana base, so the odds of you having red consistently on turn 3 to 4 to cast Clarion when you need to is incredibly low. Someone asked about Night of Autumn. I don't know that I'm in love with Night of Autumn. I think I like Kaya better against the Oven decks, and I think I like Trophy and Despark better against the Wilderness Reclamation and Fires decks, just because Trophy and Despark double up to kill Nightpack Ambusher and Kenriths and stuff like that. So I don't know that I love Night of Autumn at the moment. That's why I didn't include it in here. All right, I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while we get things set up and flipped over for the next one. I'm also going to run out in the other room and give Jake a hand really quick getting set up on the TV. When we get back, we are going to kick the tires on a 4 colors fire deck featuring Genesis Ultimatum here. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.